Call the JSCB meeting to order. We had some really exciting, important business that we thought it was worth bringing us together and acknowledging the significance of it. Today's obviously significant for a couple different reasons. It is the superintendent's final JSCB meeting, and we'll get to that later. But among the many components of the superintendent's legacy will be the STEAM school at the old Central High School, or Central Tech. It is a project that we've been working on for a long time. When I first became mayor, one of my first meetings, probably my first meeting with the superintendent, we talked about that building. And coming from 6 years in business development in City Hall, I can't tell you the number of calls that I got from developers saying, "Can you just get rid of that building? We can put apartments in there. We can use historic tax credits and bring some life back to it." And so that's what I thought we would do. And I sat down with the superintendent, and he began to describe his vision for the STEAM school, which was a vision that he shared with a number of folks, including Steve Swift, who just joined us this morning. And I talked about it, talked with the county executive about it. And the more we all talked about it, the more we felt that we had a really special opportunity to bring a world-class school, not just to the city of Syracuse, but to the county of Onondaga. And again, it's been a long time coming. I can't begin to tell you, although there are many people in this room that know how much effort went into these two documents and how challenging they were. And that's among three institutions that get along and generally agree. But it was hard. But we managed to pull it off. And before we go ahead and sign on the dotted line, I just wanted to give the county executive an opportunity to say a few things, and the superintendent. So, County Executive, welcome.
Thank you, Mayor.
Welcome back to your former stomping grounds here.
This is deja vu, sitting at this table. I used to sit right there, and Joe probably remembers. Sometimes I cause a little bit of trouble sometimes, right, Joe, for you every once in a while.
A little bit of excitement.
Yeah.
Keep us on our toes.
But no, certainly it's great to be back, and I just want to congratulate everybody who worked on this project. This is an exciting project, the first of its kind in New York State. Hopefully it will be a model for other communities across the state and the country to follow as we prepare our young people for the career paths of today and tomorrow. And certainly it wouldn't have happened without, Mayor, your leadership and everything you did. Steve, huge advocate and proponent, as many other people. And Jaime, thank you for sticking through it. And again, thank you for everything you've done for our children and our adults over your career. You've had an amazing career, and we're lucky to have had you here as long as we have had you. And I want to wish you the best for whatever is next. And I want to thank you for being a friend. You're a great friend, especially during the last 24 months as we all have been challenged in very unique ways. But this is a big deal, and happy to be a part and a partner in this, and looking forward to getting the design firm selected in short order, and then starting to build a world-class institution for our young people.
Thank you, County Executive. Superintendent.
Good morning, everyone. Just want to say thank you, Mayor. Thank you, County Executive, for this opportunity. We began to work on this like 5 years ago over a breakfast with Steve and other people, and we thought that we have a facility that we can bring together to provide services to the student in Central New York, not only to the student in Syracuse, but a school that is without zip codes. That is a way to think different, because we're going to be competing for the same funding and services. So why don't we get together, put out our efforts together, and make a difference for all the kids in Central New York? So I want to thank both of you. I want to thank former Commissioner Bodie, who is a graduate of Central Tech, who, when I shared the idea also with her, she worked with the board and is in support of this. So thank you for supporting this idea, and I'm looking forward when we just roll out that red carpet in front of the STEAM High School for our first production there. So thank you.
Thank you, Superintendent. I'm glad you mentioned Pat. I do want to acknowledge, each of us have other governing bodies that we work very directly with. And so I do want to acknowledge the role of the school board, of course, the Common Council, and we have Common Council President Helen Hudson here. Thank you, Helen, for your support and stewardship, guiding it through the council process, and of course the county ledge as well. Yep. And this was a new thing for the county ledge to engage in, but they stepped up, and here we are. So without further ado, we're going to start with the lease agreement. We're going to go in the order of what we accomplished. I don't know if you need a pen.
Borrow one here, thanks.
Go. And so we'll sign the lease agreement, and then we will sign the work letter agreement, which was just approved by the Common Council on Monday. All right, there's that. Oops. And that goes to you. That goes to you. All right. Lease agreement is done.
Perfect.
Let the construction begin.
Right. And the ever important work agreement. Let's see, all right.
Next page.
Thank you. All right, this one goes to you.
I mean, this one.
There you go.
Yeah, I think you signed that one.
Did I get that one?
Yeah, so this one goes to Jaime.
Thank you. Yeah, okay, now I'm messing it up. It was going smooth there for a minute. So that one's to you. This one's
yours.
okay, I'm the last one.
This one yours too.
Thanks. I think we're good.
Perfect.
All right. Last but not least, I also want to acknowledge all of our teams, starting with Joe Barry, who has been a steady hand and a guide throughout this. But I know each one of us has just an incredible team that really was in the trenches working through all of the questions that we didn't even think to ask, and more importantly, coming up with the answers to them. So thank you to our respective teams as well. So with that, it is official. We are ready to get started. And again, I want to thank everybody. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I'll take back all the agreements to notarize.
Yes, gladly. Get them out of my hands before I...
Yeah. Absolutely. I loved that school. It was great.
Okay. Again, good morning, everyone. Thanks for participating in that special moment. It was a long time coming. But plenty of work still to do. And so on that note, I'm going to go ahead and call the JSCB meeting to order. I'll notice that all board members are present, which is wonderful. And I will move to the first item on the agenda, which is the May 26th, 2022 minutes, and I'll entertain a motion to accept those minutes.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. All right, next up, we're going to go to Joe Barry for a report from our secretary.
Yes, good morning, Mayor and Board.
Morning.
I have no new correspondence to report,
Okay.
but I want to thank you for your kind words previously and say all the attorneys on the project did a great job. It was a great team effort.
They did. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
All right, next up, we will go to our report from our program manager and bring Chris up to the mic. Good morning.
Good morning. There we go. How's everyone? Yeah, good. So just wanted to report out this morning, give you kind of a run through of our normal things here. In terms of project budgets and approvals, I think first item there I noted was just that we got final cost reports submitted to SCD for Bellevue and Grant, which is good. Got several more to get through, but we're working our way through there. In terms of approvals, I don't have any formal approvals in terms of building budgets, but I do anticipate that either in July or August, we might have a building budget modification that might be coming your way as we settle out on a few things financially. We may move money one more time between a couple buildings. So I would anticipate that in either July or August, not multiple buildings, but probably one or two would be what I would anticipate for that for July and August. In terms of closeout, we're in terms of tranche 2, we're continue to move along there. I'm happy to report out with the exception of Henniger because obviously we're still working there, but we have substantial completion certificates issued and executed on all the buildings now, which is obviously, contractually significant in terms of us moving in that direction of closing those buildings out. So those are done. And as a whole, across the board, we're about 97% complete with punch list, which is good. And we're working our way through. Some are really, really very, very close, and some are a little bit further back, but we're getting there with all of them. And then continuing with final payments for contractors and architects, anticipate that we'll have a couple more of those for you over the third and the fourth quarter here as we move to close those out. And tranche 1, the Blodgett, Ed Smith, and Huntington, we should be there in July in terms of finalizing the payments for those. It's mostly at this point for professional services, and we're just chasing the closeout documentation and some of the stuff that's required for the diversification plan requirements for documenting that. So we're working through that, but anticipate that we would be there in July for that. And as I mentioned, the final cost reports for the balance of the building is a work in progress as we start to financially close each of the buildings and get change orders run to ground on all of them. In terms of construction updates, the Fowler interior package, we will have the substantial completion certificate issued for that. I'm not sure if it's fully executed as I stand here, but that's on the docket to have that done. And we did, with the exception of a couple little things, got the basketball hoops that we did as an extra over there. Those are now in place. I think there was a electrical component to that needed to be finalized, but they are there. We were able to get those up and in place. Concession storage building, I think we reported on this previously, but we have the certificate of occupancy now for the building. Still dialing through a few punch list items over there, but it can be used now, which was the piece we were driving for. Corcoran, about 94% on our punch list there. And we have a little bit of extra work over there that we're waiting for some doors and hardwares to arrive so we can get those installed. It was anticipated to be done this month. We'll see if they arrive as anticipated, but that's not a lot of work. And then,
Can I ask a quick question before
Sure.
we go on? So you said you're anticipating the doors, so are we still having a backlog of stuff we're ordering, or is it moving along?
Things are moving along. These were a change condition that came late in the day to swap out those doors, the loading dock. And so yeah, they were ordered out of sequence, which is why it took them longer to get here.
So the
Supply chain is still erratic. There's some stuff that we're starting to see that is, stabilizing, and then other stuff is still extended. Mechanical equipment, which, fortunately for us, we have that here already. But mechanical equipment seems to be the one where we're seeing a ton of it, between air handlers, unit ventilators. Those things continue to slip in terms of production dates. I mean, some of them are out now pushing 3, 4, 5 months. And electrical components we're still feeling that a lot, for newer projects. At Henniger, a couple things happening there with the library. The new library will be punch listed, as anticipated, doing punch list inspection on that. So we're largely there with that. The upper level cafeteria is where our focus is at the moment. We've got, we got a lot of work to get through over there between the kitchen and the cafeteria. The cafeteria itself is but the kitchen is obviously mechanically intense. And we're very focused on that. That will be a steep climb in the next 9 weeks here to get that kitchen done and operational. And we've got some areas of focus over there that we're focused on in terms of the production of what's happening there. So we're getting there on that one, but I want to be candid in the fact that there is a lot of work over there to do. combined with, we still have other work that we're doing over there, the windows in the building, which we've done well at getting the windows cut in on the exterior, but we still have to get on the inside and trim everything out and restore the inside, make the demolition on the inside. And there's a fair number of windows over there. And we have work in the music room in the old library that has to get underway, which, we just are now getting in there with school coming out. So it is definitely a hill to climb over there this summer, and we're focused on it. And obviously be back to you again in July here with a more detailed report out of if there are areas of specific concern. But that is our last push, is to get through that. And,
So what is the likelihood that you will get through it? Last year, when the school opened, there was issues, and it was a real problem for the
Right.
students and teachers. I really can't see that happening again, not at the same school, the same thing. I mean, Henniger has a lot of students in there.
It does.
We really need to be prepared this time. So what is the likelihood that when those children walk into that building and the teachers, that they're not going to go through the chaos they went through last year?
Yeah, and Pat, I certainly appreciate that. And we all remember what we went through over there. And so we're focused on it. The likelihood, I mean, right now the schedule indicates that we're there and we're going to be there. But, as we unearth more things, as we open up new areas, there's always some surprises. So we are definitely going to stay focused on it. And that, like I said, that kitchen and cafeteria is our largest area of concern.
So if the other buildings are winding down and there's less construction, are you able to bring people over to Henniger to speed up the work to complete it? Can you work at nights? Can you?
They've been working evenings for quite some time. We've been in that cafeteria for a while now. And I do think there are certain components over there that need to be amplified in terms of workforce. And we've communicated that and are having conversations with the general contractor about that, because I do think there's opportunity over there to enhance that a bit. And that's a current topic, I will tell you, with them. So, and just so everyone's clear, I mean, our substantial completion for that building was 9/1, and then the dialed out with everything and all the details and all the punch lists would be November 1. So there will be a period past the opening of school where we're still going to be obviously, continuing to do corrective work and to deal with punch list items that are over there.
But punch list items aren't usually an issue for the students and teachers.
They're not typically, no. That's, at that point you're substantially complete. You'd have beneficial use of the space. But I bring it up only because to align the perspective of the fact that 9/1 comes, there's not going to be any presence over there with contractors. There still will be a presence over there with contractors. And as we go forward, if there is caveats to that or specific things that we know are going to be of concern, obviously we'll bring that to the table and highlight that specifically, if there's an area of concern as we go forward.
Grace, how about the second floor where the old library is? That's a large area.
Yes, it is a large area.
And it's a big concern for me for September.
Yeah. No, and that's on our radar as well, to get up there. That work has started a little bit later than anticipated or was scheduled originally, because the current library, the new library, that was behind as well a little bit. So that has dominoed into that old library area, and we're in there now.
Are they going to be working there during the day now that the kids are out?
Yeah.
And when is that going to start so we can?
Yeah, I believe we're aligned for Corey, through Monday. We're going back to days over there. We've been on nights, and so we'll go back to days over there starting next week. That's what I say. So we're going to open up a lot of areas. The kind of the start light just went off for, as soon as obviously you're not in the building, you don't have occupancy in the building anymore to allow us to move more freely in there
So can you do days and nights?
if we need to.
Will that happen?
That's part of the press. If it needs to happen, Pat, yes, then that's what we will do. We will push for that.
Will you know by July if it's going to happen?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. No. In July, we'll be back, and that's what I said to it. Right now, with some of those areas that we're just getting into, we haven't even gotten through the demo portion of it, and that always reveals some stuff as we get there. But in July, we'll be back to you and I'll have a better sense of where we are in terms of that. So,
No. That's why the building will be empty. It's been empty the last 3 summers for them to work. So it's just having the workforce there.
Does it cost you more? Does it cost the program more to be running day and night?
not if it's incumbent upon them to recover on schedule, no. You know, if we ask to accelerate something out of sequence, or if we ran into an unforeseen condition and want to request that they perform that after, you know, as an amplified or a second crew, then yes, then that could be something that would be eligible for, might be entitlement for that. But if it's just that they haven't kept up with their schedule, then that's incumbent upon them to do that. Yeah. Nottingham, about 97% on the punch list as well there. Clary, we're down to, you know, a single item, which was replacement of some sinks over there that we anticipate, now that classes have concluded, we'll go in there and swap those out with the correct ones. Elms, we're about 97% complete there. Working through closeout documentation and pushing that one to come to completion. And Danforth, we're about, you know, in terms of punch list, we're about 99%. I'd like to say 100, but there was a couple items left. And that, and at Danforth, we are financially complete in terms of we've settled from a change perspective over there and gotten to a final contract amount, which is good. Under critical constraints, I think we've largely touched on a lot of it. Still working through an issue that we have at Elms in terms of a claim that we've had there for extended general conditions, which we're in the process of working through on that. Corcoran had a little bit of a hiccup there, but we'll get through it. We had ordered some terrazzo tile that we waited to come in, and unfortunately it arrived damaged, and so we have to reorder some material there. That was on the shipper that it came in and it was damaged, but we'll get that. It's infills, it's small infill areas underneath drinking fountains, so it's not a significant deal. And then just largely focused on change management, trying to get all of the open changes that are still out there dialed down and reach agreements with the contractors. We've had, like I said, I think I mentioned at the last meeting, we've got some legacy issues that we're working through to try and come to consensus with folks on. So, and then I did want to point out, we kind of put together for our fun fact this month, we kind of gave you some metrics of what's been accomplished. Want to say that it's been my privilege to work with Jaime. I've enjoyed working with you over the years and really appreciate all your efforts that's gone into this. It's quite an accomplishment, and kind of the stuff there that, you know, it's just kind of a testament to, you know, we've renovated over 1 million square feet, you know, between the 13 different buildings that we've done. You know, improved air quality through the installation, and you can see it there. I mean, I didn't count every single unit that we put over there, but, you know, 43 air handlers, if you stood them up, you know, side by side, that's a significant factor, and that's improved your air quality in the buildings. We've done about $9 million worth of new windows in 11 different buildings, which obviously made a tremendous difference. If you walk into Nottingham, for instance, where we replaced all those glass blocks that you couldn't see through, or you walk into Danforth with the light difference is just absolutely significant. So it's fun to look back at that. We renovated 7 gyms and 7 cafeterias, you know, throughout the district. So it's quite an accomplishment. So appreciate all your efforts.
Thank you.
Great. That's about it.
So Danforth, you said, is 99% complete with all of the stuff in the basement and all that good stuff. We're on track.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Couple items there that, you know, that we're still running to ground, but, you know, in terms of listed punch list items, we're 99% complete. So, but understand that punch list may have been 300 items at one point. So 99%, there could be a dozen items there. So, but we'll get there. We you know, once they make the list, they don't go away until we get them completed. So sometimes that takes a while, but we get there. What's that?
I said we'll talk in July.
Yeah. But nothing over there that would, again, they've been occupied for, you know, for several months. There's nothing over there there's not a space that's unavailable or anything like that. These were just, like I said, a lot of the And when you go through that punch list process, there's obviously a little bit of a back and forth sometimes about whether they, the contractor may feel that isn't something that he should be responsible for. So there's obviously some discussions that happen along the way there in terms of whether that's something they did or didn't do and that they're responsible for. And
I
that,
think my concern was more so the furnace and the basement and the boiler and all that stuff. That was my biggest concern with Danforth,
Yeah.
because it was ancient.
right. Yep. And we did repurpose one of the boilers that was there and we put new boilers in. And, and it does take a while sometimes to get the new boilers completely dialed in. But they've been running for quite a while over there, and we had those, they were inspected by a third party, because you have to have them inspected for the operation of them.
Anything else for Chris?
Any questions?
I'll be anxiously anticipating that July report, Chris.
I know you will.
Good,
All right.
good work.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Or the last minute call in September before it was open school.
Right, yeah. It'll get more exciting as we go on.
What? You're not done? Just kidding. Guess we'll be here.
And Jaime will be on a beach somewhere. All right, looks like Donna's already making her way up for our financial statement report, so, good morning, Donna.
Good morning, everybody. Okay, we have our short financial summary this month. This is for the month of April. And as you can see by the report, for the month, we have nothing coming in and nothing going out. So I have very little to report. The vendor payments that were approved in April will be reflected in the financial summary. The reason for that is our April meeting was really at the end of, way at the end of April. So there wasn't enough time to get the vendor payments made until the first week of May. So they will be reflected in May. So both May and April will show then. But right now, cash did not change. We did end the month with the same amount that we had in March, which was $51.9 million in cash. And we had $53 million in fund balance. So there is nothing there, no activity for the current month. But the year-to-date, which I have reported in prior months, was $34 million total for cash inflows, $42 million in cash outflows, and our projected for the year for cash inflows is 34.3. So as you can see, we're getting very close to the end. And our projected for fiscal year 21 was $76 million. So the reason that one is so high is because in May, we're going to make a $34 million debt service payment. So that's really all I have to report. I tried to keep it as simple as possible to commemorate Jaime's last meeting. Didn't plan that, but it happened. So does anybody have any questions? No? Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Donna. All right, last report on the agenda is from our independent compliance manager. I see we've got the PowerPoint set up. Good morning, Lloyd.
Morning. Appreciate it. Thanks, Donna. This is perfect height for me, too. Morning, everyone. The first few slides, I'm not going to go into detail. They really didn't change much since the last point because a lot of it is phase one and construction. But the first slide is our, everything in blue is the closed out items as far as the compliance officer is concerned. This is the cliff notes of the report. Wanted to go over this and to provide some examples of how well the project is doing. When we look at the minority, 302,000, female 156,000, and residents 332,000, and students 121,000. The minority is exceeding the goal at 19.47%. Women 10.6%. We're just there. That's always a concern. Professional services really helped us out in the beginning, so I'm glad we were able to capture that. Residency, we're exceeding the goal also at 21%, and students at 7%. So project is doing really well. The $74 million for the MBE firms that are in Syracuse, I wanted to just put that in perspective. I was on a project in Binghamton University. They did $350 million, and they only had $46 million in M&WB participation from New York State. This is all done from within Syracuse, so that's a great number. These are the professional services slides. not too much have changed, so I'm actually going to go to construction, tranche 1. Everything in green is closed out. If you look at the 97%, that's kind of in line with what Chris just talked about as far as where the project is. So anything remaining is just a retainage. And we have some documents still that we're collecting on the Form Bs that shows all of the amounts that are still outstanding. Same for the WBE firms, about 97% of the firms that were approved have been paid. Again, that's a retainage, about 2.5%. So when we get to construction tranche 2, the total was 27 million that was approved. Of that, 26 million was paid out, so about 95% has been paid out for tranche 2. For women-owned firms, 38 million was approved. Of that, 37 million has been paid out, so about 96% has been paid to the firms. So right in line with what Chris reported. As far as the hours for professional services, that really didn't change much from tranche 1, but when we look at the combination of the two, we can see the 378,000 total, and of that, 70,000 was minority, 95,000 was women. I think that's 85,000 residents and 50,000 was students. Am I close? Sorry. New glasses will get picked up next week. So this is all blue. This is our closed out page. So those numbers have not changed. And when we look at the totality, we have 1,000,005 total, and then we have 302,000 was minority, 156,000 were women, 332,000 of those hours were resident, and 121,000 were students. So the project's doing really well. We are going to continue to watch the women because usually towards the end of the project that trickles down. So we're hoping to capture that. Being here at the end of the project, we're probably going to hit 10%. All of them are still exceeding the goal. So it's a good, it's still a good number overall for the project.
Good. All right, any questions for Lloyd?
Thank you.
Good report, thank you. Good job to everyone. All right, looks like next up, we have a resolution, so I'm going to turn it back over to Joe.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. We have resolution number 9, 2022, which would make our monthly payments to the various contractors.
Okay.
So moved.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Adopted.
Thank you.
And I was going to say, we have a secret resolution. Didn't mean to interrupt you.
Yeah, no, thank you, Joe. So we do have one more resolution that isn't on the agenda, but that we would like to provide. So maybe Joe.
We also have a plaque, thanks to Suzanne Slack, so let me get this ready.
Please.
Imagine.
Yeah. Thank you. And how about a resolution? Great. So typically we don't read the resolutions, but given the significance of this one, we thought that it would be appropriate. So it reads, whereas the Joint Schools Construction Board, hereinafter referred to as JSCB, was authorized by New York State through Chapter 58A4 of the Laws of 2006, as amended by Chapter 459 of the Laws of 2013, 14, and 21. And whereas Jaime Elisea served the Syracuse City School District as Deputy Superintendent and Chief of Operations since April 7th, 2006. And whereas as Deputy Superintendent and Chief of Operations, Jaime Elisea was responsible for SCSD facilities and as such played a vital and instrumental role in the creation of the JSCB and the launching of Phase 1 projects in 2006 through substantial completion of Phase 1 in 2013. And whereas Jaime Elisea became superintendent and a member of the JSCB in 2016 and has since worked tirelessly to close out Phase 1 and Phase 2 of the project. And whereas under Jaime Elisea's leadership, the JSCB has completed Phase 1 and Phase 2 of the Syracuse Schools renovation project, consisting of the planning, designing, construction, improvement, remodeling, repairing, furnishing, and equipping of 17 buildings and facilities of the City of Syracuse School District, collectively the project. And whereas the total value of the work to be completed pursuant to Phase 1 and Phase 2 comes to approximately $451 million. And whereas the Syracuse City School District is now sending thousands of students per year through these buildings, giving them better access to opportunities and a proper education in the facilities they deserve. And whereas the Phase 3 of this program will address major capital projects in up to 6 additional schools, ensuring that even more children in Syracuse have access to high-quality learning spaces that are safe and filled with updated technology. And whereas the JSCB, under Superintendent Elisea's leadership, has successfully adopted Phase 2, both a diversity plan and a project labor agreement that significantly improved opportunities for minorities, women, city residents, and SCSD graduates. And whereas the JSCB has echoed Superintendent Elisea's vision of being a wholly inclusive vehicle for opportunity for the people of Syracuse, creating jobs for parents and neighbors, building schools for children, and ensuring a brighter future for everyone in our community. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the JSCB hereby congratulates and commends Superintendent Elisea on his leadership as a member of the JSCB during the past 6 years, as Phase 2 construction is on schedule to be successfully closed out in 2022, and the JSCB Phase 3 program was authorized by New York State, and wishes him the best of luck with his future endeavors. So I believe, Council President, I heard a motion.
You heard a motion.
I second.
And do we have any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The resolution shall take effect immediately. Superintendent Elisea, thank you for all that you have done. We appreciate you and wish you the best of luck. We also have a plaque here that includes all of the facilities renovated under your leadership. So thank you again for everything.
Thank you.
Job well done.
Thank you.
One more round of applause for Superintendent. I know you have to give a few speeches here on the home stretch, but anything you'd like to share with the board? We tried to, obviously your career is long and extensive, and your achievements are great. We tried to focus this on JSCB, given your role on this board, but would welcome any comments you have before we wrap up here.
Again, thank you very much for the plaque, for the recognition. It's been a pleasure. It's been an honor for me to be part of this board. As a team, we're leaving our facilities better than the way that we found them when we began to work as a board. Chuck has been here from day one with JSCB 1, Helen, Pat. There's a lot more that needs to be done. I want to say again, thank you to the staff for all the work that you have done. Mary, Kelly, all those days on Phase 1 upstairs, talking about the G word that we used to have around as a program manager. No offense to anybody. So it was great. Thank you, Chris, the team. I know that sometimes, even though that it may look easy, I'm not an easy person to work with. When it's about our kids deserve the best. I want to thank President Hudson for their support, also for our facilities, the Common Council, because our facilities had not been taken care of for years and years and years. People talk about the schools around the city of Syracuse, and the city, the mayor, the Common Council, the Board of Education, and elected officials made a commitment to make a difference. And slowly, but for sure, we're making a difference for our kids and our future. So thank you very much.
Any of the other board members have anything to offer before we close out? No pressure.
Well, I just have to personally say thank you to the superintendent, and I think for me, probably one of the most significant projects in all of this lies on the west side of the city, and that's the Fowler High School project. For years and years, we've talked about that, and under your leadership, under your reign, we now can all proudly pass that Fowler High School, and it is now the showcase in the city of Syracuse for the Syracuse City School District. So, you know, bravo, kudos to you. So,
Thanks, Larry.
Thank you.
I mean, I'll just add a comment to that. Beyond the Joint Schools Construction Project, just your love of kids and taking care of kids and your commitment to the children of this city has been phenomenal for your entire career. Thanks for stepping up and being the superintendent and just carrying out the project and continue. And thanks for grabbing that STEAM school. I had to pinch myself this morning to make sure I was awake when I saw everybody sign it, because I said, is this real or not? And so it's just exciting, all the things that you've accomplished. Just an amazing career. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Steve. Others?
Well, I was on this board in phase 1, and now I'm back on the board. And I have to say, I have noticed such a difference, and it's because of the way you work. You collaborate, you're easy, you try to compromise, but you never bend if it affects the students. And I am truly impressed, and I don't think this city would have accomplished as much as it has without you. So I'm sorry to see you leave, but I'm glad you're going to enjoy your future.
Thank you. There's a phase 3 coming, just kidding.
No?
Okay, I'm gonna take the opportunity in my house. Okay. I just want to say, Jaime, you've been more than just a superintendent for me. You've been a friend. And I am so very glad that you love our babies. And I'm glad that you continue to push forward to ensure that they get everything that they need. And I'm hoping that once we ribbon cut the STEAM school, that you'll be standing right there front and center with us to make that happen. I appreciate everything you've done for the City of Syracuse City School District and our children throughout our communities. I don't appreciate the fact that you're leaving me, but okay then. But no, have a wonderful life, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, President Hudson.
I mean, I would just add that I know you mentioned how long we've been doing this together. Pat, you were there at the beginning, and I think from day one, all you've reminded us is why we're doing this. And I think that's been your theme throughout your tenure. And congratulations and thank you. It's been a pleasure working with you.
Thank you, Chuck.
Thanks. I'm just reading the bottom of the plaque, and I'll just finish with the last sentence here, which says, on behalf of generations of students, thank you, Superintendent.
Yes.
Thank you.
I think it's only appropriate that you offer a motion to adjourn.
The move.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
For everything you've done.